Welcome back to the 12th edition of India ESG and CSR Summit 2025 by CSR Box Group, the way forward together. Welcome to the Peacock Ballroom 1. Today, our focus in this room shifts towards education, skilling, and the future of CSR. So, without further ado, let me start with our first panel for the day. Because education is not just about academics. It's also about preparing young people with life skills, values, and pathways to succeed in real world. With that thought in mind, let me welcome the next panel on stage. As moderator, we have Mr. Muhammad Asim Khan, who's the CSR head at Cadence. Let me welcome our panel, Mr. Yogesh Kapsi, head CSR at Schaeffler India. Mr. Robin Sarkar, Project Director for Shiksha Initiatives at Shiv Nadar Foundation. Ms. Neetu Agarwal, Chief Financial Officer, Global Services at Fiserv. And Ms. Purnima Shankar, Associate Director, CSR ESG Admin and Travel at Latent View. Welcome panel, and now the stage is yours.
Morning everyone. I'd like to start from saying that जाऊं कहाँ के हुनर किसके पास है, जाऊं कहाँ के हुनर किसके पास है, आंखें तो सबके पास है पर नज़र किसके पास है. So why I am talking about hunar, because today we are talking about skills, life skills, and probably a topic less discussed or maybe requires more discussion. That is what the industry tells me. So we have our four panelists, and a huge round of applause for all the people who have gathered here to hear about this important topic. I'll first ask Yogesh to say a few words, introduce yourself, and also the first thoughts that come to your mind when you hear about this topic.
Thank you, Asim. A very good morning to all of you. My name is Yogesh Kapse, and I had CSR for Schaeffler in India. Coming about the topic of the today, it's really very close to my heart, and it's being around, 2 decades I'm in this sector, and this is still issue need to be figured out by us as a country, and now the time is really come where we should speak about beyond the books. So it's really very prominent and very significant one, considering the human resource we have in the country. Thank you.
So Neetu.
Hi, this is Neetu Agarwal. I'm from Fiserv. Fiserv is a global leader in payments and financial technology solutions. And CSR reminds me of a quote from Bill Ford, which says that, creating a strong business and building a better world are not the conflicting priorities. They go hand in hand. Both are essential for the long-term success.
Thank you. Robin.
अगर आप लोगों को आपत्ति ना हो तो मैं हिंदी में बात कर सकता हूँ.
बिल्कुल.
बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद. नमस्कार, मेरा नाम रॉबिन सरकार है. मैं शिव नाडर फाउंडेशन से आपके समक्ष आया हूँ. और CSR अपने आप में एक बहुत बड़ी अपॉर्चुनिटी है. और जब हम नेशन बिल्डिंग का काम करते हैं और जब नेशन बिल्डिंग के अंदर हम एजुकेशन के सेक्टर का काम करते हैं, तो वेरी नेक्स्ट थिंग आफ्टर एजुकेशन इज स्किल बिल्डिंग, वैल्यू सिस्टम एंड वेलबींग. तो आई थिंक ये टॉपिक बहुत ही इंटरेस्टिंग है, जहाँ पे हम लोग इन तीनों चीज़ों का समागम एक साथ कर रहे हैं. थैंक यू वेरी मच.
Good morning, everyone. I am Purnima. I head the CSR and ESG at a company called Latent View. We are the first analytics, pure play analytics company which went public a couple of years back. We have a very young employee profile, and with reference to my thoughts about CSR, I think the government has beautifully tried to bring in through the 2013 policy. I feel CSR is the best life skill laboratory, which teaches employees, or which teaches everyone, all the stakeholders, a lot of life skills, which is very, may not be taught through regular schooling or education. And more when I talk about it in next few hours.
Okay. Thank you so much for your introductions. I'll first come to Robin. Robin, a lot has been said about NEP already, and a lot of it is still only policy and yet to be implemented on the ground, as we all know probably. But what I would like to ask you is how your initiative, the Shiksha initiative, is contributing to that, or you are trying to align and see how much more we can make it at an implementation level and strengthen the implementation, because the policies are talking about, you know, incorporating life skills and experiential learning and all of those things are there, but how much of it is actually getting translated on the ground?
Thank you, Azim. The NEP is something which we needed, मतलब जो हमें ज़रूरत है एक्चुअली एज ए कंट्री, जिस एजुकेशन के मोड पे हम लोग खड़े हैं, हम लोगों को NEP जैसे पॉलिसी की ज़रूरत है जो कि ग्राउंड लेवल पे कस्टमाइजेशन के ऊपर काम करती है. तो ऐसी पॉलिसी हमारे पास आई है और हम इसको इम्प्लीमेंट करने के लिए काम कर रहे हैं. ये एक बहुत अच्छी बात है हमारी कंट्री के लिए. हाउएवर, क्योंकि हमारी जो कंट्री की जो श्रृंखला है, जो जिस तरह से हम लोग काम करते हैं, वो इतना कॉम्प्लेक्स है कि अभी इसको ग्राउंड पे उस तरह से इम्प्लीमेंट करना काफ़ी, अभी उसमें टाइम लगेगा और उसमें काफ़ी एफर्ट की ज़रूरत है. नॉट ओनली एफर्ट फ्रॉम द एडमिनिस्ट्रेटिव टीम बट ऑल्सो एफर्ट फ्रॉम एक्सेप्टेंस. जो टीचर्स का एक्सेप्टेंस है वो भी अपने आप में बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट है, तो वो उसमें अभी टाइम लगेगा. शिक्षा इनिशिएटिव जो शिव नाडर फाउंडेशन की तरफ से है, हम लोग ICT का इस्तेमाल करके ग्राउंड लेवल पे गवर्नमेंट स्कूल्स के साथ काम कर रहे हैं. और जब हम लोग इस तरह से काम करते हैं, गवर्नमेंट स्कूल्स के साथ कस्टमाइजेशन के ऊपर काम करते हैं, एक्सपीरियंशियल लर्निंग के ऊपर काम करते हैं, तो ये काम करना संभव इसलिए हो पाता है बिकॉज हम लोग डायरेक्टली लोकल एडमिनिस्ट्रेशन, लोकल डिस्ट्रिक्ट मजिस्ट्रेट एंड BSN उन लोगों के साथ काम कर रहे हैं. तो एक स्मॉलर पॉकेट के अंदर इसको एग्जीक्यूट करना ज़्यादा ईजी हो जाता है और वहाँ पे हम लोगों को रिजल्ट्स भी नजर आते हैं. लेकिन जैसे ही हम इसको पॉलिसी लेवल से इम्प्लीमेंट कराने की कोशिश करते हैं, वहाँ पे ये लास्ट माइल प्रॉब्लम आनी शुरू होती है. तो आई थिंक अभी के केस में मेरा सजेशन ये रहेगा कि इस तरह की पॉलिसी को छोटे एक्सपेरिमेंट्स के लेवल पे तोड़कर डिसेंट्रलाइज तरीके से इसको उतारा जाए, ताकि इसकी एक्सेप्टेंस बढ़े ओवर द ईयर ऑफ एक्सपीरियंस, ओवर द ईयर ऑफ टाइम. इसकी एक्सेप्टेंस टीचर्स के साथ बढ़े, जो इसको इम्प्लीमेंट करें उनके साथ बढ़े, ताकि जब हम लोग इसको ओवरऑल ऊपर से प्रेशर डालें तो उसको सब जगह पे पहुंचा जा सके. दैट इज व्हाट माय टेक इज राइट नाउ.
Thank you so much. Yogesh, you would like to add anything about the initiatives that you are taking and how they are aligned, because we are talking about NEP and what are the goods and the bads that you see out there?
Yeah, Sim. So, I mean, what has been said about the NEP, so I just would like to first reflect upon the positive sides of NEP, what I have seen in it. So, though it's been in 2020, but if you see the National Curriculum Framework, NCF, which came in 2023, and so NEP is a very wider, this thing. It starting with early childhood education till higher education, right? But for today's context, I will keep myself restrict to the skilling part and how pre-vocational education is one of the very important piece which is happening in this particular space. So, from the, one of the major, I have seen the changes is restructuring of pedagogical and curriculum framework in the NEP. And if you see the NCF, curriculum and the which has come, if you see the allotment of hours, so 160 hours annually is given to mathematics, 160 for science, and for vocational education is 110 hours, physical education 100 hours, art and craft 100 hours. So see the kind of change and major shift has happened in the curriculum framework. And now I'm coming to what as a CSR, what Schaeffler India is doing. So it's been around more than 5 years, we are supporting a program called Introduction to Basic Technologies, basically a pre-vocational program in the government schools. And we have really seen amazing outcome. So what NEP now is talking about, basically under vocational education, working on 3 major aspects. Working with material and machines, working with community services, and one working with the living forms like agriculture and animal husbandry. So these are the area which will get exposed to these kids from class 6 to 10th, which is a very major shift. So we have been supporting this kind of a program. It's been more than 5 years, and we have seen some amazing and significant changes, right? So, I mean, here we are talking about sustenance of school infrastructure, but whereas we have seen the impact of this particular program, though it requires long-term commitment to this particular process, as rightly said by Robin, in a small scale you can see the impact, but when it comes to the scalability and all, then it becomes challenge. But why I'm highlighting NEP? Because this policy level changes has actually created a path, and the kind of program which we have supported with one of our partner, I should take the name of his Vigyan Ashram based out of Pune, and there are similar institutions doing such kind of a work. So they have invested around 35 years of their research on pedagogy and developing a path to how to make it happen. So we've been supporting the program, and we have seen the amazing results. So this kid, the students who get exposed to this particular program from standard 6 to 10th, so they know, they know each and every aspect of vocational job available in their local context. So like if they are sowing seed 13 kg wheat during Rabi, and they are harvesting 370 kg as an output, and they entirely mapping that as a part of the learning. At the same time, these schools are working as a production center and a service center, and not just a school. So I would just like to quote one or two case studies. There are few schools in our program which are generating revenue of 50,000 to 1 lakh. I mean, they're acting as a production center, generating revenue. And how they are doing it? So like they are taking orders from the local panchayat, like supplying sweet to the panchayat on 15th of August or 26th of January. They are selling Ganesh idol during Ganpati festival. They are putting stalls we also offer them, space in our manufacturing plant. They sell. So this particular syllabus, this particular curriculum are exposing them to the all local relevant, business opportunity, market dynamics, and parallelly learning is happening on communication, teamwork, collaboration, how to negotiate. All those skills are getting exposed. Yes, for this, it's an instructor-led program. So while we are talking about their application, a lot of effort need to be required in terms of teachers' preparedness, infrastructure support, commitment to the funding for scalability. But I see a lot of opportunity in terms of taking this program to the different region, develop the curriculum, and how we can integrate it in the local context in different states. So that is the kind of potential I see out of this program.
No, thank you, Yogesh. You brought funding into the scope, and that is what I want to ask Neetu out here. Neetu, when a lot of NGOs, if you ask them, they will tell you that yes, we do a lot of CSR when it comes to education, health, but when it comes to life skills, nurturing skills, and those aspects, the softer skills, somehow they will tell you that the funding doesn't flow. That is what the feedback the NGOs will give you. Somebody from Buddy for Study was also sitting. It's not here. So when you come from a CFO background and when you are sitting in board meetings and a proposal like this comes to you, what is the general discussion around? How do you tackle, and how do you also look at the impact that is coming out, and how do you balance? Because we keep on talking about the triple bottom line and all those aspects, but the important bottom line, which is also the economy aspect of it, how do you measure that? How do you balance that?
Thanks, Asim. So first of all, thank you so much for having me here. I reached here a bit early and I got a chance to interact with my colleagues. Got a lot of insight about how CSR is practiced in the respective organizations, and sad to hear the on-ground implementation. But yes, coming back to your question, which is at the core of the CSR strategy, how to really measure the outcome both from society or community and organization perspective. Now, in Pfizer, we don't really treat CSR as philanthropy, but more as an investment in the national talent community or for the economic growth of the country. Here, if we talk about the initiatives are designed for dual impact. both while societies or communities benefit from the CSR program outcomes, our employees are, are also engaged or involved and act as a change agent through active volunteerism. The program, that we have focuses on communication, leadership, financial literacy, and hence we have seen a significant improvement in the retention, engagement, and productivity. So now, as a CFO, if I think about KPI or ROI, all the time, and hence we continue to do the long-term investment on human capital, and we also believe that the effectiveness of the program can be achieved only if it is aligned with industry-relevant skills, which is whether you call it digital literacy or the problem-solving mindset. Now, talking about how do we balance short-term cost with the long-term, benefit. So in Pfizer, we have this pilot to scale approach where we start small, measure the outcomes in terms of employability or, engagement, innovation, and then basis the impact, we decide to scale up. The classic example of this approach is our, our STEM laboratory program, where we started with 4 labs in Chennai, and we scaled up to 40 plus labs across the country. We also believe that, the sustainability of the approach of the program can come only from the collaboration. Now, we partner with the NGOs, with the government programs, with EdTech platforms, where we gain some sort of, reach. Again, one of the examples of this is, the Lights Camera Inclusion, which is our flagship program, where we are focused on social inclusion and employment of the people with locomotor disabilities. In fact, part of this program, we partnered with the Yes We Do Can Do Foundation. And, we also partnered with the Film and Television Institute of India, where we imparted the filmmaking skills to differently abled people. Over last 12 months, in fact, this team has created the Stride, a short film, which is where, we have featured the Pfizer Associates as a lead cast. And the film was well appreciated at multiple platforms, including PVR Chennai. So this is kind of our strategy to deal with, to balance the bottom line and the bigger agenda of catering to the community.
Yeah, Robin, you want to add?
आपने एक सवाल पूछा कि एनजीओस को क्या देखने की जरूरत है, वो मैं अपने एक्सपीरियंस से भी बताना चाहूँ। 2 चीजें हैं जो हम लोग बहुत कीनली देखते हैं और देखना भी चाहिए। एक तो कि जब भी हम स्किल डेवलपमेंट की बात कर रहे हैं तो स्किल डेवलपमेंट शुड लिंक टू मार्केट लिंकेजेस, मतलब एम्प्लॉयमेंट। स्किल डेवलपमेंट अगर कर रहे हैं तो एम्प्लॉयमेंट से रिलेट होना बहुत जरूरी है। अगर कोई एनजीओ हमारे पास सिर्फ स्किल डेवलपमेंट की प्रोग्राम लेके आएगा और उसको एम्प्लॉयमेंट से रिलेट नहीं करेगा तो वो अपने आप में एक नेगेटिव टर्म होता है, नंबर 1। नंबर 2, वहाँ की जो रिक्वायरमेंट है, वहाँ के जो इंडस्ट्रीज हैं वो क्या चाह रही हैं, उसकी कंप्लीट स्टडी अगर हो तो एक एज ए फिलेंथ्रोपी, एज ए सीएसआर डोनर, अगर हम लोग इस प्रोजेक्ट को देखें तो वो ज़्यादा हमारे लिए अपीलिंग रहता है कि भाई ये दोनों चीज़ें एड्रेस हो कि इन्होंने मार्केट भी स्टडी किया है एंड ये जो भी स्किल डेवलपमेंट करने जा रहे हैं इसको कनेक्ट कर रहे हैं एम्प्लॉयमेंट से। अगर एम्प्लॉयमेंट नहीं होगा तो वो स्किल डेवलपमेंट प्रोग्राम थोड़ा मुश्किल हो जाता है।
That brings me to the point that we'll also involve the audience in the discussion, and I hope the organizers are ready with the mics. At an appropriate time, we'll come to take the audience questions also. But moving forward to Purnima, Purnima, I think we were discussing about what is the role of the employees also, and we can not only restrict this topic to the program participant or the beneficiaries, but also to the employees and the stakeholders. So how do you see this life skills and CSR impacting your employee engagement aspects, and what do they tell you when you design your programs?
Okay, so I'll just talk a little about our flagship. It's called Chennai Kalpand League, where we run a football league. We have taken up, we started small. We have adopted some government schools, where we do training for the children. We first scout, do training, then run a league. After the league, do give intensive training, and from the training, we ensure that children are going into sustainable pathways. We've got some lovely success stories. Two girls from this league have now gone into SDAT Namakkal, and little back about how this league came up. So as we were defining our CSR initiatives, so starting we worked with a lot of grassroots company or partners, and slowly as we were involving employees, we figured out that because the average age of our employees is 25, very young, they need to be also interested. Plus, as Yogesh just said, it should be something the need of the community or where we are, and our thematic area is education. So we thought sports is the best way to align both the employees and the schools. Believe me, this just started off with a thought that we have to do with sports. We thought how to do it. The first and the second year of our leagues was total learning experience, because it was totally ingrown. It was not that we sat and thought how to go. We thought we need to run a league, provide sports experience, match play experience to kids, how to go about it. Then the question was, what should be the sport? We thought of football, because it requires very minimalistic requirements, and we are from Chennai. Government schools in Chennai are well equipped with big grounds. So we thought, any sport which is less equipment, more teamwork, more getting together, and that's how how the league was born. That's important because we involved the volunteers, we involved our employees, and believe me, they sat with us identifying the partner. We got in partners. Partners gave some way of how to develop it, and our football team, which is there inside, they came up and they got the vision that from this league we would want to have girls or boys representing India in the national level first, and then also going up to the international clubs. So this vision, when they have it, right, it was really, we thought that we were progressing in the right way. And in terms of how this is helping life skills, the second league, after our second league was done, and every process like scouting or maybe organizing for the league, volunteering and everything, the employees, they participate. So one of the employees came up and told to me, now I can understand what it means to administratively do an event. मतलब जब वो खुद कर रहे हैं, then they understand what's behind it, they appreciate it. So I think it's a very important life skill for the employees. One is, there is a lot of hiccups as we run. It's not very straightforward. There are multiple stakeholders. School hai, climate, rains, stakeholders, teachers, parents. So when you are exposed to such diverse stakeholders, you learn how to communicate with them, what is resilience, how to negotiate. And believe me, this employee came up and said, I am understanding what it means to do a project management, which they are running projects, they are in delivery, but these aspects of that, I'm not sure if they get a hands-on experience in school or in the project. And this age, I think that is a fantastic outcome of the league. And on the other side, right, from the, I would also want to call out the stakeholders, which are the parents. Having the children be after school stay for the league requires a lot of support from the parents. So there is one auto driver parent who, for his kid, he comes there and he ensures he takes the kids along with the other kids with them. Now, how, that has got such deep background of how they get together, and they want not only their kid to excel but other kids. So I think these are wonderful skills that we see on the ground as we implement this program.
Purnima, I'll ask you the second question right away, because you mentioned the role of community and in a lot of panel discussions where I go or where I listen, they always talk about the participation of the community and how it enhances the experience. But I would like to understand from you that what is the channel where the communities can actually give you a feedback? What is the role that you played so that we keep on telling कि community को लाओ और सबको participate करो और but there has to be a channel and a formal channel so that the community can tell, and it cannot be an airy fairy stuff. What was your role to establish a very fruitful channel, a clean channel, a smooth channel, so that the community can come and get involved and give you the feedback?
Okay, thank you. First is, I think, as I said, I'm from Tamil Nadu. The government there is quite open, and they are inviting, conferences, meetings where they say, in fact, they have put in Namma Chennai, a platform where they are saying donors, you come and say where you want to own, and they're also getting a lot of inputs from schools of where they want. So at least I would say in South India, the acceptance from the government to take funds from the CSR corporates and implement it not in bits but to develop a wholesome project, seeds are there, and that's helping us a lot in terms of getting approvals, working with the CEO, the education department and all of that. So the first stakeholder is the education department, where I would say channel of how to engage them is to first show how authentic and how passionate we are about the program. In terms of channels, I think when you are running your program, we need to create the channels on our own. And again, a story which came out after our second league is, we are people in the CSR committee sitting and thinking of the program, but I may not know what is the ground. So we did a fraternity meet in our office, wherein we called coaches, wherein we called referees, NGOs who are in the field of football, teachers, the school community, and our employees. Believe me, that was the opening of where we wanted to go and how to go, and know the challenges and try to work towards the challenges. So the clubs came in. We just went about and we told our partners. So we are working with a partner called Sports Village, who has been in this field for over 20 years, and they also have a company called Edu Sports. So with their contacts, with our employees, we reach out to our employees saying, do you know anyone? Is your parent in the sports field? Matlab, the impact of that fraternity meet was the channel for us to say, how do I break into SDAT? Until then, we never knew how to make a sustainable pathway. We thought clubs were the only sustainable pathways. How to go to SDAT, because there is very limited information of how we can approach the SDAT, how we can put a kid into the SDAT. So when we got a lot of people talking about it, we got different arenas of where we can send, how to do, what are the additional things we need to put into our program to make it wholesome, like nutrition, travel, ensure the child is picked up and dropped, kits we were always giving, but when to give the kit, how important it is to have the kids with the children from the start. So I would say the channel would be calling all the stakeholders together and seeing the 360-degree perspective of what you want to do, what the community wants, what the stakeholder wants. It can't be one way saying, I want to do a league, I want to do it. It's not that. It has to be wholesome.
Thank you so much, Purnima. It's a really detailed answer. I'll ask Yogesh another question, and then we can come to the audience, I think, if the mics are available. One more question, Yogesh, to you is, we are talking about well-being, we are talking about life skills, all good words, but we are also talking, I want to also talk about the challenges. For example, a lot of these debates are subjected to only asset creation probably, or infrastructure. When we're sitting in board meetings, we're talking about what are the tangibles, and these aspects are very much intangible also. So how do you see when you are presenting it to the board as a CSR manager or a CSR head, when you're presenting these projects that come from the NGOs and presenting it to the board, what are the questions that are coming in? What is the NGO wanting? How do you bridge that gap, and how do you balance all of it?
So Aseem, I mean, it also varies from board to board sometime, and who heads the boards and what is the priority. I'm practically speaking, but coming from this fraternity and investing 2 decades in this, I mean, it's my job to justify the resource invested. So basically, we propose a long-term, project across. So just for giving you an example, like, and your program need to be aligned with the national priorities and the government, right? So if you present in that way to the board, to the management, that is aligned with what the government is thinking, how SDGs are aligned, how the national education policies are aligned, it get, a good amount of approval and less questions if your framework is very clear. So just coming back to, how it, what kind of a questions we have, what kind of a question from the board or from the NGO. So, in India, you have a number of NGO, very genuine one doing good work, but you can't have partnership with all. So somewhere you need to see the strategic alignment of your companies. Like we come from manufacturing, so a lot of stress is there on technology integration, STEM education. They understand this particular language. We conceptualize those projects based on that. We partner with those sort of NGO bringing those sort of curriculum or framework or concept to us. But on the other hand, if you give a broader framework of how your program going to change a scenario in let's say in 5 to 10 years, then definitely it would appreciate that. So like if you see when we talks about here about the the values and the skilling in the education. So in our country, it's so sad, but we use a very inferior lens when we talk about the pre-vocational or vocational education. So entire mindset is very different. So when we talk about vocational, everybody sees a very service standard. Though it's day to day, we need to know this life skills, right? So if you integrate these skills into your curriculum and then you present it like how it will going to transform this particular generation, which is around, if you see from class 6 to 10, it would be around 24 crore students, and if they get exposed to this particular set of exposure of different, sets of vocational jobs available, and how much pain it takes for a carpenter or electrician to fix, and if you know those skills, so definitely it comes the dignity of labor. The student understand that, right? And life skills, cooking one should know. Like those sort of skill set, how it's translate into collaboration, teamwork, and how the next generation would be available for the industry, which is more prepared. They are, asset and not responsibility. So in that framework, if you present, I hope all the stakeholders get convinced and go ahead.
Thank you so much. Questions from the audience? Anybody? Yeah.
Yeah, hello.
Directly the question, not the introduction. You can stand and please. Yeah,
sure.
Yeah.
So this Monday, I was at a teacher training where at my organization, Leadership of Equity, we help the middle management on implementing a classroom observation tool on teachers on what are the weak points, what are the strong points. And this Monday, I was part of one of this workshop and I was shouted at because one key observation was on positive classroom observation. If the middle management sees any teachers bullying or teasing any students, you have to rate them low. So I was really shouted at, are you judging us? Are you going to put the teachers into some problem? I had to say, sorry, mujhko Hindi zyada nahi pata hai, and actually get away. So my whole point was that while in this whole discussion, we are talking a lot about children, classrooms and etc. But if teachers don't embody these life skills and values and well-being, it's it doesn't get inside. In trainings, we see like male teachers sit aside, female teachers sit aside. They don't talk amongst each other. So for NGOs who are working on large-scale reforms on teachers, like we are currently funded by World Bank, but the funding is ending. But what challenges? What challenges?
Thank you for your question. Yeah, thank you so much. Robin, would you like to respond to that?
Very practical problem which you have highlighted. Actually, this occurs और ये होता तब है जब आप किसी एक्सपर्ट को उसकी एक्सपर्टीज सिखाने की कोशिश करते हैं. मतलब अगर आप टीचर को पढ़ाने की कोशिश करेंगे कि आपको कैसे पढ़ाना है और किन चीज़ों को ध्यान रखना है, तब आप इस तरह के चैलेंजेस को फेस करेंगे. हालांकि हम लोग जब इस तरह की ट्रेनिंग करते हैं, शिक्षा इनिशिएटिव जो इस तरह की ट्रेनिंग करता है, तो हम लोग एक टूल का इस्तेमाल करते हैं कि हम आपकी सहायता के लिए आए हैं, हम आपके काम को एनहांस करने के लिए आए हैं, और उसी टूल को, उसी लिवरेज को हम लोग इस्तेमाल करते हुए बाकी चीज़ें बताते हैं कि अच्छा, अगर आप बच्चों के साथ इस तरह से बिहेव करेंगे तो बच्चे आपको रेजिस्ट करना कम करेंगे. मतलब एक मैं एग्जांपल दे रहा हूँ, लेकिन लार्जली लेवल पे ये होता है कि हम लोग इफ यू गो इन द रूम एज एन एक्सपर्ट टू एन एक्सपर्ट, दैट गाय विल नॉट लिसन टू यू और दैट पर्सन विल नॉट लिसन टू यू. अगर आप उनकी सहायता के लिए जाते हैं, अगर आप देखिए, हम लोग आईसीटी का प्रोग्राम लेके जा रहे हैं. आईसीटी यानी कि कंप्यूटर से पढ़ाने की प्रक्रिया लेके जा रहे हैं उनके पास. तो सबसे पहला क्वेश्चन टीचर के पास था कि आर यू रिप्लेसिंग माई जॉब, आप मेरी जॉब लेना चाहते हैं क्या? तो हम लोग बोलते हैं नहीं, ये प्रोग्राम जो है ये आपको क्लास मैनेज करने में और सहायता देगा, आपको बच्चों को मैनेज करने में और सहायता देगा, आपको अपना टाइम वेस्ट नहीं करना पड़ेगा बच्चों को चुप कराने के लिए. जब इस तरह की चीजें होती है तो हाँ, अच्छा और क्या कर सकता है ये प्रोग्राम, और मेरे लिए क्या कर सकता है, तो इस तरह से एड्रेस करने की जरूरत होती है. नेवर टीच एन एक्सपर्ट बियॉन्ड हिज एक्सपर्टीज, बिकॉज ऑब्वियसली वो ऑफेंड हो जाएगा कि वो वहाँ पे मतलब इतने सालों से एक्सपीरियंस लेके बैठा है. अगर आप उसको ये बताएंगे कि आपको ये नहीं करना है और ऐसे नहीं करना है, तो वो देखिए, आप कोई नॉलेज ऐसा नहीं है जो आप उनको एडिशनल दे रहे हो, उनको अपने एक्सपीरियंस से पता होगा कि ये नहीं करना है. तो इसलिए हमेशा वो कॉन्फ्लिक्ट रहता है कि भाई ये तो हमें पता है, हमें क्यों बताया जा रहा है. तो ऑलवेज यूज अ लिवरेज टू सपोर्ट देम फर्दर. That is how we can address this issue.
Thank you so much. Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you for the interesting discussion. Just wanted to check on these three topics. I believe that all of you must be funding such projects. So whenever as an NGO, we pitch these kind of projects, so life skills as critical thinking, values, mental well-being, how to de-stress, right? Whenever you are having failure, how to overcome that. What is your lens of impact? How do you measure the impact on such topics? Because as an NGO, these are not tangible impact, right? You'll just go and give the information, you give a toolkit to the students, and we expect that they will actually use these whenever a situation occurs. So how do you measure impact on such programs?
Neeti, would you like to take that?
Thank you.
So, great question. So basically, see, I mean, if you talk about, and I'll just talk from the CFO lens because I'm not very close to, all this discussions, conversations, but what we generally see is, is it really aligned with our values, our culture? That's our first parameter. Is the impact measurable? Because that's very important, whether it is in the form of ROI or KPIs, we generally keep track of that. Then the impact should be long term. It should not be like, and I was in an NGO. I just, I occasionally visit NGOs. So I was in one of, NGOs in Delhi. And I asked them, like, you train them on computer skills or other things, but how about them coming out of their training or education program, then how far do you track them in terms of their employment and stuff? So I just wanted to understand the whole model that they have adopted. So, and I was very happily, surprised that, they have a very robust framework. They call, the students after they passed out, and to check on their employment status, and if they are not employed, they would also take the responsibility of giving them something where they can meaningfully engaged and earned and be self financially independent. So these are a couple of parameters that we would look at, something which is very rosy upfront, and it doesn't really create a long-term impact for the society, would not really stand in our parameter. So these are a couple of things that we would look. And as a CFO, I think, I would always worry about the money that is invested, that is, should have a bigger impact.
और स्कूल की अगर बात करें तो 3 और चीज़ें हम लोग ऐड करते हैं इसके अंदर जो विजिबल मेजरेबल इम्पैक्ट होते हैं. वन इज अटेंडेंस, कि पहले बच्चों की अटेंडेंस, जैसे वेलबींग और वैल्यूज़ की बात कर रहे हैं हम लोग, तो अटेंडेंस कितनी कम हुई है, बढ़ी हुई है, तो अब पहले कितनी थी और अभी कितनी बढ़ी है, वो एक इंडिकेटर होता है, स्ट्रॉन्ग इंडिकेटर होता है. पीटीएम जो होता है, पेरेंट टीचर मीटिंग रूरल एरिया में, वो एक स्ट्रॉन्ग इंडिकेटर होता है कि कितने लोग पीटीएम में पार्टिसिपेट कर रहे हैं. आई एम जस्ट टॉकिंग अबाउट पार्टिसिपेशन एट दैट मोमेंट. थर्ड उनका हेल्थ इंडिकेटर होता है कि कितने लोग बीमारी की वजह से बच्चों के छुट्टी ली है. ये 3 वेलबींग के इनिशिएटिव्स के इंडिकेटर्स बहुत स्ट्रांगली हम लोग मॉनिटर कर पाते हैं.
Add in, so अगर impact assessment करना है तो give it to the people who know how to do it. So in our 5th year, we tied up, this year we have tied up with Madras School of Social Work to do this job for us. So वहाँ के जो PhD डॉक्टर स्कॉलर्स हैं उनने एक सैम्पल साइज लिया है जिस स्कूल में हम कर रहे हैं. They sat with the students and it's not just a paper which is given out to the students. They sat with all the stakeholders. We've still not got the outcome of the report, but it's a detailed analysis outcome that is done by the experts. So we have got the institution to help us do it. I think that's the best way to do it. Social audit nahi hai. It's not a social audit. Impact assessment hai, but it's done by institution like a Madras School of Social Work, which is, it's bread and butter, right? So they do it in the best way and will let us know what is the improvement और हमको क्या करना है. So it's not just about knowing what the improvement, but we also want takeaways in the spirit of the program.
Yeah, that's a good point. Yogesh, you wanted to add something?
I just wanted to add, I mean, along with the impact assessment or the indicator, what he said, we also, have a very clear metrics in our proposal, LFA, right? Just to give an example, like when we are talking about vocational education in schools and how to assess whether they are really learning entrepreneurship skills at some extent. So like we have put an outcome that each schools which is participating in this program should annually generate 10,000 rupees as a revenue from community. So that is the kind of we matrix we use and we follow that, whether it's 5,000, 10,000 or 1 lakh, what happened, why it's 1 lakh, why it's not 10,000, and that's give us enough, this thing. So we use this kind of outcome matrix.
सर मैं मतलब टेम्प्टेड हूँ, सबने आंसर दिया तो मैं भी मैं आपको बता रहा हूँ कि रिपोर्ट्स बन जाती हैं, हम सबको पता है, हम ये कोई छुपी हुई बात नहीं है. मैं जब फील्ड विजिट पे जाता हूँ मैं अपने सेट ऑफ क्वेश्चंस लेके आता हूँ, 2 टीचर से पूछता हूँ, 2 स्टूडेंट्स, मुझे पता चल जाता है कि कितना काम हुआ. सिंपल, इट इज एज सिंपल एज. अगर आपके पास वो, अगर आप रिपोर्ट्स के सहारे बैठे हो तो फिर वो नंबर्स मिसलीडिंग और फिर वो तो वो unless and until you are into the heads of your NGO partners or the implementing partners, you will always find that gap. Yeah, we have one scope for one more question, or maybe we'll take one more if you have. Yeah, sure.
मेरा सीधा सवाल योगेश जी से है. आप स्किलिंग पे बात कर रहे थे तो एक क्यूरियोसिटी है ये जानने की, आपको क्या लगता है किस एज में या किस ग्रेड में बच्चे को स्किलिंग में डालना चाहिए, और इसको आप डिफ्रेंशिएट कैसे करेंगे कि क्या हमने जिस बच्चे को स्किलिंग की शुरुआत करा दी है किसी एक सर्टेन एज के बाद, तो उसको क्या हमने किसी न किसी तरीके से हायर स्टडीज़ के लिए जाने से रोका है, रिसर्च में नहीं जा सकता है क्योंकि वो शुरू में स्किलिंग में गया, कहीं ना कहीं एक सर्टेन समय के बाद वो कुछ अर्न करने लग जाएगा, तो हमने क्या, हम उसको कैसे देख पाते हैं कि यार ये बच्चा कल तो वाइस चांसलर बनता यूनिवर्सिटी का और अभी कहीं मोबाइल रिपेयर कर रहा है, तो इसको कैसे डिफ्रेंशिएट करते हैं और क्या अप्रोप्रिएट एज है जहां से स्किलिंग कराने की शुरुआत की जा सकती है फ्रॉम योर एक्सपर्ट?
तो वेरी ब्यूटीफुल क्वेश्चन एंड आई वुड लव टू आंसर दैट. सो जैसा आपने बताया तो एक्चुअली ये इशू है, आई मीन लार्जली अमंग द पेरेंट्स व्हेन वी रन दिस प्रोग्राम, दे फील ये स्कूल जा रहा है तो इसको पढ़ना चाहिए, ये सब रिपेयरिंग करना, कारपेंटरी करना ये एज नहीं है, इसको मुझे ये नहीं बनाना है. दैट्स द इशू विद द पर्सपेक्टिव पीपल आर लुकिंग एट द वोकेशनल, राइट? What we are talking about as from the program perspective. So I'm just quoting an example of our program. So these kids, they know what is the cost benefit of agriculture, like 500 square meter they have done the chili production. They know what is the break even, everything. They are learning calculation, marketing, everything. At the same time, they are exposed to the technology like digital fabrication, 3D printing. They are programming and giving printing on the 3D. I mean, the girls are printing jewelry on 3D printing, right? these students are making blogs of their schools. So they are recording all this, what I am talking about, the activity, putting on the blogs. So they are maintaining blog. So they are exposed to various sets of vocational available within the context. I mean, they have been exposed to like what are the kind of a job. So nowadays there is a content creation is available. Like you can make a 30-second reels. You can help a local entrepreneur in developing advertisement for them. So they've been exposed to various activity, and by the time he reached to grade 10, he will expose to a different set of vocational education, and he will understand what is his interest. Whether he understands this is the domain I have the keen interest. So we do not want him to be limited to being an electrician or a plumber, but we wanted to teach him what is the kind of, I mean, the value of dignity of labor, what kind of a, amount and effort required for this, and this gives them life skills. So they value each and every vocation. At the same time, they can see the potential of this. Like nowadays, when we are talking about in NEP, so there is a 3 dimension. I mean, they are talking about exposed to the services. So nowadays, there are services available like old age is increasing. Old age care is one of the biggest area coming in. But if this kids won't understand the depth and the market potential of this, so they may run a world-class startup providing old age care maybe after, or may become a researcher at US, but he knows digital fabrication, he knows what is the potential. So age, lot of research in NCF 2023, National Curriculum Framework, lot of academician, researcher, practitioner put together, and they have put a certain age limit, like from class 6 to 8. So after 12 years, I mean, up to 18 years, they should be exposed to. So initial 2 year pre-vocational, we are not exposed to hard skill, but let them know what is the safety measure, tools, material, and then. So age appropriate, already it's been defined by a lot of experts. So I would recommend we should go with the expert, what they have advised in the National Curriculum Framework. Thank you.
No, so I've been told by the organizers that we have got 5 additional minutes because of the Gahan Charcha which is happening. Yes.
Hi, good morning. I am Rakesh. I just have one question. Yeah, wanted a clarity on that. Mr. Yogesh was talking about the life skills are the basic things that we should understand. So I think there is no age bar, but yeah, if you wanted to teach someone or someone wanted to learn about basic skills, there is a fixed time frame for that. Maybe 1 year, 6 months, maximum 3 to 5 years. That is the compliant requirement of CSR to support that. But if a student wanted to build the career in those particular skills, doing really good, wanted to follow that thing as a career, then is there any thought, any discussions going on in the CSR fraternity to support that? Because in that case, you need to go for the sponsorship.
ठीक है, हमने उसी पे 2 दिन पहले चर्चा करी मांगे. Any women speakers questions? We have taken all from men only. Yeah, there are 2. You can ask.
Simple and can be answered at the end. What is that one skill which is beyond books? Can be life skills, value, well-being. That is not employability skill that typically is answered. Which you would like to see in a child that you supported grow into a youth and become employable.
Since we are talking on all connected things, I'll just say one thing that जो life skills के बारे में आप कैसे measure या क्या करेंगे? It is just that in the adolescent program we work basically with the adolescent के साथ काम करते हैं. बोले क्या तुम लोग करना चाहते हो? तो बोले कि मेरे यहाँ लॉट ऑफ चाइल्ड मैरिजेस होता है, तो किससे बात करना होगा? पंचायत से. एंड गाइस उन्होंने पंचायत के पास बहुत देर तक काफ़ी डिस्कशन उनका हुआ, और उसके बाद पंचायत से उन्होंने नो बैन ऑन चाइल्ड मैरिज केवल उस एरिया के लिए कराया. क्या ये लाइफ स्किल नहीं है? बहुत टाइम लगा. सो इट विल नॉट कम together, and I was really waiting for this session. I was listening कि किस रूम में ये वाला सेशन हो रहा है. So hats off to this entire thing कि आप लोग at least शुरुआत की इस बात करने का. It's a very very important thing. And then when you are saying as a CFO, I also tried to change this in the board. I said अर्श, हम लोग reproductive health पे Metropolis काम करता है. I said डॉक्टर्स ये बन जाएंगे, इनको बनने दीजिए, इनको लाइफ स्किल सिखाइए, उसके लिए आपको कोई भी टॉपिक की जरूरत नहीं है. These girls will take things ahead. I wanted to share this.
Thank you so much. Ma'am, Neetu ma'am and Purnima ma'am, coming to you. What is that one skill, like the lady asked?
Agility and flexibility. that brings in adaptability?
I think zeal to learn, I guess, that hunger. And actually it comes, and surprisingly, as I said, when I visited one of the NGOs, I was amazingly surprised by the kind of response I received from the kids who were actually in the classroom. They all wanted to become either doctor, teacher. I mean, they are coming from such a backward region, but they all have the ambition at par with anybody of us coming from a privileged background would have. So I think they all carry that ambitions, dream in their eyes. They have zeal to learn, very hardworking, and very, adaptable, as she said. Anything that I was telling them, that this is how you should really evaluate yourself, because they don't have that facility, they don't get the regular feedbacks. So it is very important to self-reflect. I think if they just need guidance, and I think they'll just take off.
I'll say two. One is the skill to listen. The other skill is the attention span. I think going forward in the next 10-15 years, the attention span that is lagging, not more than 40 seconds we are able to be attentive, the generation that is coming in. Yeah, maybe even lesser. Yeah, so I think those are the two skills we really want to see how we can. Last question, we have just 1 minute left.
Yeah, I think everybody talked about the NGO side of the thing. I wanted to bring a employee side of the angle. Maybe the question is for the corporate folks sitting out there. Some of these things, right, whether it is well-being or some of the values, right, when I go and pitch to the board about the CSR proposal, right, one question I've been asked is that how you can engage our employees in these initiatives, right? So that's a question I have for you, right? Because some of these things, whether well-being, values, right, those values we want to inculcate in our employees, right? So I want to get your insight as to what do you think on these?
I think Purnima has already answered that question. How, and the case studies also she has given as to how the employees and how their lives changed when they were volunteering. So I think that question has been also, just last question. I'll take one more. Just last one, yeah.
Thank you so much. Since ma'am spoke about child marriage also, I just want to ask, in areas that are more complex, for example, safety issues, child sexual abuse, child labor, ये ऐसे issues हैं जो बहुत सालों से चलते आ रहे हैं, and as an organization हम लोगों ने 3 साल 4 साल काम किया है communities में, but corporates do not see the tangible result क्योंकि issue इतना complex होता है, एक तो result नहीं आता है. हम बोलते हैं awareness दिखेगा, परसेंटेज ऑफ अवेयरनेस दिखता है, देन से रिपोर्टिंग कितना हो रहा है, बट आपको पता है कि रिपोर्ट करना कितना मुश्किल है फॉर अ फैमिली और इवन एन इंडिविजुअल. सो इश्यूज लाइक दिस, हाउ डू यू थिंक ये कैसे हम, मतलब हाउ कैन वी कन्विंस मोर कॉर्पोरेट्स टू सपोर्ट सच क्रिटिकल इश्यूज?
आई वुड लाइक यू टू टेक दिस.
बहुत पेनफुल पॉइंट बोला मैम आपने ये वाला. हाँ, थैंक यू. देखिए,
आई एम अ मॉडरेटर फॉर अ रीजन.
देखिए, ये इस तरह का प्रोग्राम जो होता है CSR में जब आप अप्लाई करते हैं तो एक हमारे पास बंदिश होती है कि हम 1 साल के अंदर रिजल्ट दिखाएं, इम्पैक्ट दिखाएं. अगर हम उस पूरे रूल को अच्छे से पढ़े तो हम लोग एट द मैक्स एक प्रोग्राम को 3 साल तक भी खींच सकते हैं, पर वो 3 साल के बाद हमें कुछ ना कुछ इम्पैक्ट दिखाना जरूरी होता है. आपने जो स्पेसिफिक सवाल पूछा है, मैं खुद भी उससे डील कर रहा हूँ कि हम लोग जब ड्रग अवेयरनेस के ऊपर कैंपेन करते हैं कभी, तो हम लोग अवेयरनेस ही बढ़ा रहे होते हैं, लेकिन उससे हम किस तरह से उसको इम्पैक्ट से रिलेट करें वो हम लोगों को ढूंढना पड़ता है. एक तरीका ये हो सकता है इसके अंदर कि आप एक लार्जर प्रोग्राम बनाइए, उसके इम्पैक्ट एस्टैब्लिश कीजिए, और उसी इम्पैक्ट का वन ऑफ द इम्पैक्ट इज अवेयरनेस अमंग, जैसे अगर मैं ड्रग का एग्जांपल लूं तो ड्रग अब्यूज एंड सब्सटेंस अब्यूज अवेयरनेस हो सकता है, या चाइल्ड अब्यूज का अवेयरनेस बढ़ाना उसका एक वन ऑफ द इम्पैक्ट हो सकता है, वाइल देयर आर मोर इम्पैक्ट्स और व्हिच वी कैन सी इन द होल प्रपोजल. इससे क्या होगा कि जो कॉर्पोरेट होगा उसको ये, हालांकि वो भी अगर चाइल्ड मैरिज पे काम करना चाहता है तो वो ही वुड लाइक टू इन्वेस्ट और शी वुड लाइक टू इन्वेस्ट इन दैट, लेकिन वो बाउंड नहीं होगा कि सिर्फ अवेयरनेस दिखाने के मेरे को अब मेरे डॉक्यूमेंटेशन पूरा नहीं हो सकता. तो क्लब करने से इसका एड्रेस हो सकता है. क्लबिंग इज वन ऑफ द वे जहाँ पे आप कुछ छोटे छोटे इम्पैक्ट्स को क्रिएट करके, जैसे आप वॉश और अवेयरनेस को कनेक्ट कर सकते हैं. तो आप वॉश के अंदर आप कितने मेट्रिक टन कचरा इकट्ठा किया गया ऑर्गेनाइज तरह से, एंड कितना अवेयरनेस बढ़ा, ये दोनों क्लब किया जा सकता है. इस तरह से हम लोग एड्रेस कर पाते हैं. दैट इज वन वे टू डू इट. थैंक यू.
I have got approval for one more question. Anybody? This is getting interesting.
We have talked about life skills and a lot of well-being, but values पे हमने कहीं छोड़ दिया है, और values I think is also I would say the base or the foundation for everything else to grow. So उसके ऊपर as the panel got a view.
Yogesh?
I need to be very crisp, I mean, instead of giving a process-oriented this thing. But yes, we have not touched the value in a very detailed one. But this entire framework, or what we were talking about through various medium of engagement, somewhere from our end there was a clear, message that we should use resources, whether CSR or whatever we have, for not just creating infrastructure, but to create a character and integrity. So when this lady was asking for the values which we should, I personally feel, the empathy and ethics should be there, and it should be integrated in the entire ecosystem of education. We need to embed the modules, very small modules in terms of, in our education. We need to channelize a lot of content creation, which is spanned with 10 to 30 seconds. We need to create those content which are relatable to the values, so this generation can understand. So that sort of effort is required.
सर वैल्यू सेकंड लेयर पे काम करता है, एग्जीक्यूशन लेवल पे आपके पास इम्पैक्ट्स होते हैं, लेकिन अगर जैसे मैडम का स्पोर्ट्स प्रोग्राम है, जब स्पोर्ट्स प्रोग्राम के अंदर आपको डिसिप्लिन, स्पोर्ट्समैनशिप, ये सारी वैल्यूज उसके अंदर आएगी, तो ऑलवेज वैल्यू को हम फ्रंट रनर की तरह काम नहीं कर सकते, सेकंड लेयर पे काम करता है हमेशा. एंड वैल्यू अपने आप में बहुत कॉन्ट्रोवर्शियल सब्जेक्ट है. इफ आई टीच यू वैल्यूज, आप सबसे पहले मेरे को बोलोगे कि ये तो मुझे पता है, या फिर आप मुझे ये क्यों बता सकते हैं? एक्सपर्ट को एक्सपर्ट नहीं बता.
Thank you so much. While there were some unanswered questions, I'm hoping to believe that there were some unasked questions as well. So we will take the discussion offline. Thank you so much, all the panelists. Thank you, the audience, for your patience. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much to the panel as well, and I think this topic was very dear to most of us on the audience here, and that's why we had more questions, and we thought let's take up more questions now. And I think the expert panel over here have given so many insights from on ground, and I think that's gonna help us, that's gonna inspire us, and I would really like to thank from the whole CSR Box group over here, and I would welcome Mr. Moinag Goswami, who is the senior manager at CSR Box, to felicitate our esteemed panel over here, starting with our moderator, Mr. Mohammad Asim Khan. Thank you. Can we have a huge round of applause for that wonderful moderation? Mr. Yogesh Kapsi from Schaeffler. Mr. Robin Sarkar. Ms. Neetu Agarwal. And Ms. Purnima Shankar.